at the things that you can turn out now and give away as gifts, they're all going to be extremely unique because they came from you and your mind and your abilities. They didn't come out of a plastic bag from China or anything like that. And every one of them has got a defect or a flaw that you know about, that you can say that's my particular type of work. Maybe it's not a defect or a flaw, but a little thing you put in there, a little twist. When you like to accent your pieces, you may go for burn lines or charred marks or a wood embellishment. Um, I stood here the other day and took money from a good friend over a wood embellishment over a cowboy hat. I have a cowboy hat on display in my den. And when I did this hat in 2005, I was with Hannes Mikkelsen at Paramount. And the band on a hat is embellished by burning on another piece of wood. You understand how it's done. You scar a softer piece into the harder piece. Well, we had the softer piece of exotic, and we burn march into the maple that the hat is turned out of. And he stood ready and said, "There's no way that is burned on like that." No, he was just determined to tell me that you can't do that. That's little wives' tales. I mean, you gotta do these tools and all this stuff. And what he's doing is falling for the hype that those companies that sell the tools sell you. No, that it's a possibility. It's a great way to detail your work, especially in light woods like maples and cherry and such. And if you get a good soft, I want to say it's an exotic, but unique piece of wood that you can do a slight curve with, and be careful how you apply. Remember, a lot of space and a lot of contact. What you got there? There you go. You did that with those fancy tools, didn't you?
Yeah. No, I did it with a scrap piece of walnut in my shop.
You see, and you can decorate a piece like that, and it's simple art. But let me tell you, that's what Matt did right there. Nobody else in the world can do that. Nobody, because Matt did it. No, heavenly, oh, Matt. No, it's unique. You can't get them done twice like that. And you can do 10 of them in a row, and none of the 10 will look alike. They'll all have a slight variation because what are you dealing with? Wood. God wasn't never good with wood. He made them all a little bit different. And it gets a little.
Actually, it's not true. It was a scrap piece of plywood.
Okay, scrap piece of plywood. Oh, God. Man-made wood. But yeah. I got to where I was burning lines and stuff, and I was looking for wire burners, and I was trying to tell you I needed spring wire and all that. And he says, "No, not really. You don't need a spring wire. Get your door spring over and pop it and whip it out." And I said, "Well, it ain't the spring wire." He said, "Yeah, but you've put some twist in it that they didn't have and regular wire wouldn't have. So you've got some crossing of grains." Boy, did it make a unique look and detail. It really did. But what he did show me is when you start doing embellishments like that, it's your thoughts, your control, your little bit of press, and don't go gaudy. Don't remember, a little bit is very nice. Too much, kind of gets to you. But I've done the hats. I've done it on vases and mugs. And in fact, I used to do it on ink pens, and because it's a simple little trick. And if you got some nice dark woods and light woods, you can color it up and band them up a little bit. And always think about that, folks. When you do that, you're playing with art, and you're putting your touch on a piece that somebody else can't. And do a little burn and put a line between them, put a cup between them, line them out, string them out, whatever. Just put your decoration on as the way you think it would fit and be nice. When I did ink pens, I always put three dots across, or three bands across the top. And it wasn't that I didn't know what the top of the pen was. It was just a thing that I read someplace where they shouldn't just look like a tube of wood. And be surprised once it turned out that had a little barking illusion or a little bit of a sap run out or whatever on it, and it just didn't look like the rest of them. They were pretty unique, and if you could save them and finish them, you turned out a pretty nice piece of work. So it's we go through these evenings and we look at these demonstrations, and sometimes we look through the newsletter. You see these little tidbits of art, and you wonder, where did they come from? Why did they do that? I mean, I'm looking at this thing right here. Billy Bird did that urchin, okay, with it turned down like that. I always thought they went the other way up. I turned up bunches of them with the bulb shaping up because it. Oh, I kind of look ornament shaped to me, and I guess I was looking for the flow, where nature didn't have that finial added into the flow, but he got an idea and played with it, and that's what he come up with. And if you can play the lines and get the flow, the lines go well. And a good way to do that is a piece of craft paper. Draw it out on a piece of craft paper before you get started, and just sketch it out. And so your mind's eye gets to see what your intentions are, and you have a target to hit. If you just go at it willy-nilly and you don't have a target, you only see how this turns out. You're not going to be happy. So I'm not against the experimenting, but no, I always like to put a stake in the ground before I build a building. Like, it's going to go here. So I'm doing a finial. It's going to be like this, and I see beautiful finials in this meetings, but some I think are like me, short and fat, and others nice and slim. And what is it? Well, I didn't plan it out. And sometimes your fear overdoes that. You think about, it's going to break off and all. Man up. We show you how to do that. We got probably 20 videos on our website about finials. And that will get more than 20. But we show you how to attack the dragon one step at a time. You don't knock it down to 1/8 of an inch and go back and touch it again, things like that. And when you watch a really good person that does videos, they knock them out and make you feel bad. But guess what? In their mind's eye, they saw the video before they got started. They had it planned out. And I love this. Draw it out on a little 3x5 card and put it out there. You have to have a target. You always have to have a little bit of a target. And that's what works. So this is the time of year. I started this off with, it is that time of year to get things done. You're going to be going to look for a free meal next Thursday, or they come to your house for a free meal, one of the two. With a lot of family over the next couple of months, a lot of friends, a lot of people working on little things that you can do that come from your shop or from you. Well, more than just gifts, they're little special gifts. So if you get a chance, spin one out. And somebody said when you make a finial, make more than one. Now, I'm going to buy into that so wholeheartedly that I'm going to tell you this. When you set up and you get comfortable in front of your lathe and you've got all your finial tools, and there are finial tools, you do know that, right? They're the ones that are ultra sharp, easy to handle, nice on you. They do particular things for you. All right, get that all laid out, and you have your finishing tools ready and everything else. When you get started, that's like warming up your car and not going anywhere. Turn a dozen. Look at the shop. They all come from pieces in the shop. If you like a shape, get it out of 2 or 3 different kinds of woods, or colors woods, and put them away. They normally add they're of a piece of material that is of a length that will hold. They normally don't twist and warp. And what if they do twist and warp a little bit? It won't hurt. But put the basic finish on them and put them away. I told somebody the other day, I said, I used to have a cigar box full. This young boy looked at me and said, "What is a cigar box?" Man, I can tell you. You talk about feel like there's dust all over you when someone you say, what's a cigar box? We all know that. That was where our treasures went. But put a bunch of them on the side. And when you start turning ornaments, then if you don't use that one, you get an idea. You get to pick them up and say, you know, I like this, but no, it has to be a little bit longer, or it has to have a different kind of cap, or you know, you take some of those ideas you've had and start playing them in 3D, and then you hold them up and, oh, look at this, this is good. And you know, it's even better if you can look at them in a shadow effect. Like put the light on the panel behind you and hold the piece up so you're looking past it and you'll see the outlines. Your mind will accept that pattern quicker and not be distracted by the color of the grain or wood or the sparkle of the material. I got almost thrown out of a club meeting one time when I turned a really nice looking piece and then I sprayed it black to show the shape. And this guy had a fit. Why would you do that? I said, because the shape was the piece. The shape was the lesson. He said, but it was gorgeous. And I said, I can get that off or I can adjust it. But what I was looking for was you needed to see the bead, the crown, the gullet, the gob, you know, all these different parts. You had to see all those parts and how they would all work to add lines to the piece. So try it when you're looking at it. And if before you ever put them together, stick a little piece of tissue on them and stick them and hang them up there for a few minutes and look at them. You know, just to be sure. Just to be sure. Because you know, later on you say, how can I get that super glue out of there? And we've all done that. I mean, I got super glue right some days. So, but when we get out, play around, this is the time to get out and play and do a few little things. And turn on. Remember, finials don't take a lot of stock, and don't cheat with dowels going to finials. And I say that as a good turner, okay? Nowels are machined differently than turned. They're pressed out. So the grain may hook through the dowel. And we may make it awkward to turn with. So look for solid stock. Split it if you have to. To make sure you're getting grain rhythms on it. And good wood carvers will tell you a saw is not your friend when you're looking for good wood to carve. Split it, because then you know where your grain is and how it's acting, the way it's going. And you'll understand more about what you're going to get out of it. Sometimes the saw doesn't give you that. It'll hide it or cover it or put a cosmetic coating on it and by taking the face off. So I worked in a cabinet shop a long time ago, and one guy had a huge pocket knife he carried on him. I thought it was like skinning bear. But when we got into the exotics, he always did a tap and a split and looked at it and said, okay. And he'd draw on it where he wants to cut the meat. Well, we just put the fence up. Oh, we don't use the fence. We follow his line. And then we go to the fence. Why? Oh, we don't want that fuzz coming out in and out on the edge piece of the board. And I had never seen anybody be that particular about it. But then when you realize it, look at going uphill and downhill in a cut when you're doing a vase or a bowl. And you see the fuzz that comes out. That's what's happened if you go against it linearly. It really does. So